Hello everyone, Olga show with you again, and today is third day of BitCoin conference San Jose, May 19th, 2013, and with me is C-Stading representative. He is Joe Quirk, right? This is Irish name, and you have to pronounce correctly. Did I do it good?
That was perfect.
And he is at BitCoin conference, but with another different ideas. Take a look at those wonderful, I would say, ships in the sea, oceans.
Floating cities on the sea. That's what we're seeking to create.
With a lot of bitcoins all over it.
If you want to create a new nation, you need a new currency.
Okay. Only the best can live there, or anyone who has the money. How that works?
Anyone who wants to can live there. If you think about cruise ships, you know, a lot of rich investors invest in the cruise ship, and a lot of middle-class people ride on the cruise ship. And then a lot of developing world workers work on the cruise ship, and it's the size of a skyscraper. And we're thinking about connecting all these aquatic technologies together and building floating city-states that would be outside the jurisdiction of existing nations, and they could be new nations.
All right, so let's think for a while. Here you have one coming up soon, not far away from Silicon Valley, not far away from California, about half an hour away in Pacific Ocean. Is that what the plan?
Yes, I think that's going to be the first commercial sea-state. Two of the guys who worked with the Seasteading Institute, which is a nonprofit, they did a lot of the legal and business research and wrote some really good papers about how that could be done. They spun off and left the Seasteading Institute and founded their own business called Blue Seed, which may be up and running by 2014. And you'll probably feature them in a moment. We're very proud of them.
All right. So, but you are non-profit organizations who are doing the research of this type of environment to live in?
Yes. And it's founded by Patry Friedman, a famous grandson of Milton Friedman, who proposed that if you create a market of competing governments on the water, it'll foster the kind of progress that we see in technology in governance. You know, we have 21st century technologies with 18th century governments in our country. And we want governments to advance as fast. And if people live on a fluid frontier, you'd have mutation by governments and selection by citizens. That's the parameters of progress. And I was very inspired by that idea, so I signed on with the Seasteading Institute, and Patry and I are writing a book together that should come out with Simon and Schuster about the same time Blue Seed is on the water, hopefully.
I know you will be coming to me probably. I actually do feature a lot of writers, and in a week they become best Wall Street writers or bestsellers, and it's kind of amazing what you can do with media and acknowledgement of good, interesting books.
Yes, you should probably have me on that show, because I also write about sex. That's my other books that I write about.
All right. I don't usually promote that. I usually talk about technology, people, and culture, but it's in terms of people.
Okay.
You know, what people do. That's
I thought I'd pitch it. Anyway, back to Seasteading.
All right. Never know. Send me the book. I will read it, and I can see what we can talk. We can do a partial. It's not XXX rated.
No, it's evolutionary biology about people.
Okay, well, that could be natural, and it could be, evolution is evolution.
Yeah.
So never know. We can send me the book, and we can see what we can do to promote your book.
And so I love science. That's why I wrote that book. And then when I learned about the science of seasteading, I really became addicted.
All right. So now, why those cities? I see different design here. I guess you have design team. Is it graphic design, people design, or all together? What is this?
A lot of naval engineers have gotten very excited about the prospect of building kind of permanent settlements on the ocean. And I rode a cruise once. It was just like being inside a mall. It was completely calm. And you realize there's about 10 million people a year on the water on cruise ships. That's about the population of Sweden. They bring in about 17 billion a year in revenue. That's about the GDP of, say, an island nation like Iceland. You can connect these all together and make them permanent. There's people that live year-round on oil rigs. And there's a lot of people with a lot of ideas for how to improve the world, and they can't try them out under existing governments. So we want to create a forum where people can try their ideas and see if the rest of the world profits from it.
Now, when that idea started to generate and came out as seasteading organization, when this happened, institute?
Well, Patry wrote this blog that sort of went viral, and people realized he was onto something. And Peter Thiel, the founder of PayPal and the first investor in Facebook, was seduced by the idea and helped us found the Seasteading Institute. And ever since, we've attracted, thousands of volunteers and hundreds of donors, and a whole lot of what I call aquapreneurs have contacted us to use our resources. People want to build algae farms on the sea to replace agriculture. People, Neil Sims with the Vella Research Project is making mobile fish farms that move with the schooling fish with negligible environmental impact. There's people have ideas for like medical innovation ships and floating hospitals that will compete with national healthcare systems. I mean, people are generating lots of ideas, and I think it's a testament to the power of Patry's idea that attracts so many different kinds of aquapreneurs.
Now, what's your educational background to be in this kind of futuristic, philanthropistic idea?
I'm a book writer, which means I'm an independent scholar, which is a fancy way of saying bullshit artist.
Okay.
So I started
right to the point.
Yeah. So I wrote. I had the perfect background for this actually. I started out as a novelist, and then I started writing about the biology of human courtship, and then so that got me into evolution, and then I started writing about marine mammals on the water and the impacts that human activity has on marine mammals. So I was in the environmentalist standpoint, and it gave me the perfect background to understand that seasteading was onto something, that we have evolution among governments and we have environmental solutions on the water to global warming and to fish extinction and to ocean acidification. And I hope we explain all these things in our book that's going to come out.
Now, when you created your website, seasteading.org, where you can see all of those pictures, which apparently was published in The Economist.
Mm-hmm. We've gotten a lot of press.
And I'm the other press who really interested to learn about it, as I read some, and I did not know who behind this. I said, oh, it's a good idea. You finally have independence, and you have lots of ocean around that.
Yes.
So now, talking about Pacific Ocean, 2,000 miles drop. Is it before that drop, or it's on before? What's happening there?
This will be an incremental process. It'll be a series of baby steps. The first baby step will probably be blue seed. Then I think medical innovation ships. Then algae, seaweed, and fish farms. If those scale up and hire enough workers, towns will sprout up to service the farms. Eventually, I think it's inevitable that we'll have floating cities that far out.
So they will be floating like a ship, or they will be mounted to the bottom of the ocean?
Free-floating platforms. There are seamounts out there that you can mount to, but we're talking long-term. I think in the long-term future, we're going to have, Hong Kongs on the water. In the short term, I think, there are places where there's seamounts where you can mount, but there's numerous technologies for how to live at sea. And it's already been commandeered by the oil and gas industry.
Right, but then how about safety? Should we have like soldiers around, like security of some sort? And
anyone that wants to create a new settlement has to worry about security. I mean, security is a foundational thing for any civilization. But if you've ever ridden on a cruise ship, you're not very worried about being attacked by
pirates.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, possibly, but then you need to find out where that ship is.
Yes. So ships fly flags of convenience, whether it's Liberia or the Bahamas or Sierra Leone or whatever it is. And there's international maritime law. And I think future seasteads will build their legal structures on top of what already exists.
So who do you expect the scientists, entrepreneurs, adventurous people come into that ships? Who will be interested to come?
I think environmentalists who are interested in growing algae-based food, supporting healthy fish. You know, corn and wheat and cows and chickens, it doesn't create healthy food. Seaweed and fish create healthy food. And I think there's a lot of people thinking about replacing agriculture with aquaculture. And I think once those are out there, and they're building themselves on the carbon in the environment and drawing carbon out of the water and out of the atmosphere, imagine turning greenhouse gas into food, greenhouse gas into biofuel. There's people thinking on that scale. And I'm very excited to think about people in the developing world coming to seasteads to take blue jobs. I think the future economy is the blue economy.
Now, in terms of the BitCoin conference, why you presenting seasteading ideas at BitCoin conference?
People who think about Bitcoin think a lot about seasteading. It seems to be a two-pronged approach to freedom and to new societies. If you want, you know, a new nation, you're going to want a new kind of currency. And a lot of people are interested in cryptocurrencies. Usually, we have to explain ourselves at length to people. Here at the Bitcoin conference, almost everyone has heard of us, and they come to the table saying, when is this happening? I've been waiting for this to happen.
I know, I thought that it's probably real, not in Pacific Ocean. I didn't expect that it would be actually near Silicon Valley, so it's make it easier for me to visit you guys. But then I thought it would be somewhere closer to China, some sort. So it's nice to see that it's actually will be not far away from Silicon Valley, whereas all these geeks and entrepreneurial spirit will come and visit and say, hey, let's relax at, do you have the name yet? Seasteading Institute, or how would you call that?
We're at the Seasteading Institute, and there's people all over the world working on this. There's companies in the Netherlands that are building floating parks and floating homes. Shimizu Corporation in Japan wants to have floating skyscrapers on Tokyo Bay. There's people thinking the movement towards settling the oceans and creating green eco-societies is underway, and more people need to understand what the future is.
Well, considering that how much ocean now covers the planet Earth.
Yes.
And if you build few cities around it or on top of it, that's probably will create some of the better ecosystem around with all of those big population in India, China, even some American states.
Sure. 2/3 of the planet is ocean. And you can imagine, you know, gigantic algae farms, you know, off the coast of poor countries, and people being hired and leaving their dysfunctional governments and going to live on seasteads. You know, Blue Seed is founded by 2 immigrants to the United States.
Which country they're from? I wonder.
Well, one is the son of Cuban immigrants, and another one is, I guess, Dan is from Romania. And Dario is from Serbia? Yeah, Serbia.
All right, so that's interesting that they come up after going through a hard time in their lives and seeing what's happened to their countries. And not surprising that they want to, I would not say escape, but to create something better and independent from perhaps other movements.
Yeah, today's immigrants are always tomorrow's mega entrepreneurs. If you list like the biggest companies in Silicon Valley, almost all of them are co-founded by some kind of immigrant. It's really extraordinary.
Why do you think is that?
I think people willing to try a new country are willing to try a new idea. And I think that's why, you know, the United States in the past has been so innovative, and why Silicon Valley is so innovative now. The more you welcome people with fresh ideas, the more new ideas are created that change the world. And that's why we want to get out into the new frontier, which is the ocean, and empower more people, like the Blue Seed guys.
I'm wondering, in terms of visa, I'm coming into political aspect of it. I don't know if you have the answer for it. Do I have to have visa to come to this? Do I have to be American citizen? Do I have to be like Hungarian, or how does that will work?
I mean, again, if you think about cruise ships, I mean, cruise ships, they dock in one country, incorporate in another, fly the flag of another. and they hire people from all over the world, and they work out all these legal structures amongst themselves, and it all works out very well. And you don't need a visa to ride on a cruise ship, but you do need a visa to come into the United States and work with people you want to work with. And you know, Blue Seed thinks that's not efficient, that's not the best way to discover the best ideas. So they want to create a tech incubation ship off the coast in Silicon Valley where entrepreneurs in China and Pakistan can work with entrepreneurs in the United States. Why shouldn't they?
All right, so they will take a ship from somewhere, I don't know, port of San Francisco perhaps, and swim by or to that seasteading city.
Yes.
And that would be wonderful. And you will have crew of people who can cook for you, clean after you. So it's kind of vacation, but mostly learning environment right now.
The Seasteading Institute is mostly about research and learning. But if you imagine the pioneers who came to the New World, the Americas, you know, in Europe they were talking about like, well, what's going to happen? What's Manhattan Island going to look like? What kind of societies are you going to do? What would emerge is unimaginable. And I think we can't imagine what's going to emerge on the Blue Frontier.
Very interesting. So it's like self-governing, floating colonies of the people who can visit or perhaps even live there.
Yeah, the ultimate goal is permanent. I mean, we already have island nations on the water. We have the Cayman Islands, we have the Caribbean Islands. They're just kind of created randomly, you know, by volcanoes or whatever. Why don't we have man-made ones and see what other kind of societies and cultures emerge?
Interesting. And so we will see how that idea will stay with us, with humans. Why not? I mean, sometimes you have to fly all the way to the space. And in terms of the money, how much do you think it's needed to continue, how much money invested already and how much needed to make it a reality?
Well, it's going to be cheaper than space. And I think every baby step in seasteading is going to have to make a profit. So you got to convince investors that you've got an idea that you can do out on the water that's going to turn around and make some money. So it requires some innovation and it requires some business thinking. And that's what the Blue Seed guys are doing. We're very proud of them.
That's an interesting idea. So we should come up with some ideas about that too.
Yes.
Because it's like, wow.
I'll see you on the Blue Frontier. I expect to see you out there.
I definitely would. If I made a move from Russia to America, why not to something...
Go further west.
I keep going. I know it's if I go too far west, I end up back in Russia, but might as well step up in self-governing floating colonies and check you out.
Yeah, you still have 2/3 of the surface of the Earth to explore.
Plus, I'm a scientist. I'm microbiologist, immunologist. We're gonna check all the microbes on those fish floating in the ocean.
Yeah, all the DNA.
Algae and DNA. I mean, I can be totally useful as a scientist, and then I could be as media, and I can speak both languages between Russia and America, and could be like ambassadors there.
You're hired. We need you at the Seasteading Institute.
And like a technologist also can check in different technologies, because I go from one high-tech conference to another, and I speak the smart people of all. So I'm like, okay, I'm knowing from the first hand what's going to happen, what's happening already, instead of just reading what others wrote. And here I give an opportunity to my listeners to follow you.
Can I interview you now?
Yes, please. I'm doing it for
We'll just transition into a job interview.
And then you can write the book, right?
Yes, I'll put you in the book. We need ambassadors to Russia with the Seasteading Institute. We need more. We have seasteading ambassadors all over the world.
But not with Russia yet?
We must, but I can't think of one. I think
Okay,
you're the one.
we can probably talk about it. Why not?
Let's do it.
I took different projects and they brought all good to all of the nations. And I'm even media about culture, technology, and people. So I'm here to help everyone. So why not? So,
Well, we need all the help we can get. We need your creativity on the Blue Frontier.
and I'm ready to step in and help to explore the ocean, make all these floating cities around, and to have a better life and
Yes.
make sure that it's happening.
Yes, we need your creativity and we need yours too.
All
And
right.
I'm not just talking to the cameraman, I'm talking to the people out there.
Who is actually watching and listening us, because we need more people who are creative, talented, and hardworking ones. No weeds, right? Only seaweeds, because I'm not into drugs. I don't drink alcohol. I'm unusual Russian. I don't drink alcohol, so.
Same here.
We can make
just
one
want seaweed.
floating colony, no any of the bad habits. Only healthy.
Yeah, you can do your healthy seastead. We'll see if it works. See if it can outcompete the drug-addicted seastead.
You know, I was joking through entire BitCoin conference and talking to smart guys about, okay, what about Olga show coin? And now we can say, okay, we can have Olga show floating colony. We don't know. And I would be like ambassador between two countries, never know. So just dream big.
That's what we're doing, dreaming big.
And I like it. I mean, now I will be smiling and now I have pain in my cheeks. So you really made it. I would like to read more of your books and we should write some more books. You write, I talk, and that's all it's matters.
Okay, I'll talk to you again. Check out my books and have me back and
Absolutely.
talk to the Blue Seed guys.
Absolutely. We're going to speak to Blue Seeds. I'm going to find them immediately and going to put them live on air and so everybody will know from the first hands what's happening here at BitCoin conference and why seasteading organization is actually took off and still going strong with all of their ideas. Olga show for you, but please, Joe, before you leave, what you can wish for our listeners and viewers?
That they would let freedom float.
Not only in the ocean, right? Float everywhere? Or?
Float in the ocean.
And make it happen on seasteading.
Yes. The place for creativity to flourish is on the ocean.
Get all the freedom you can and get support you can.
Check out seasteading.org.
All right, and that was Olga show with you with Joe Quirk at Seasteading Organization Institute.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.